Alreet, right. My new microphones arrived. Many apologies for yesterday's video. I believe a lot of you were struggling to hear it. It did sound, the volume did sound okay at my end, but the quality wasn't very good because it was taken on an internal mic on a MacBook. So I thought it would have been okay, but clearly not. Anyway, I've just plugged this new microphone in. The last one died a death. It was only £8 and it's just dead. I thought it was actually on a new PC I was using, but it's actually it doesn't work on any machine now. So I just bought this new one. Just give it a quick test. I can still hear a little bit of a buzz, so I need to play about with the settings, but hopefully the quality is a lot better. So anyway, let's do take 2 of this video. I will upload this video and I'll take the other one down once this one's up. But anyway, take 2. So we're concentrating on a dog forecast strategy. And basically, a forecast for the dogs, if you're not aware, is where you bet on 2 traps or 2 dogs to come first and second in a race. And there's 6 dogs normally in a race in the UK. So you might have dogs you will have dogs 1 through to 6. And if say dogs 1 and 2 are the favourites to win the race, the first 2 favourites to win the race, you normally, as a bet out of the track, you would put a forecast on dogs 1 and 2 to come first and second in any order. So if 1 wins or 2 wins and the other one's second, then you will win some money, and you normally win quite a bit, because it is, believe it or not, it is a lot harder to forecast 2 dogs to come first and second than it is just to get 1. So bettors normally back them to try and increase their profits. What we're doing is the opposite then. So where I've just mentioned dogs 1 and 2 being favourites, we're going to put a lay bet on those to say they're not going to finish first and second. The reason being is because the majority of times we'll win that bet. But when we do lose the bet, we lose quite a bit of money because we'll have to stump up the liability. So if the first 2 dogs, for example, are 10 to 1 to win the forecast, then we have to pay 10 times our stake, or we just win the stake back if we do win. And we'll come on to that as we go. So the idea then is, in the UK, there's probably about 10 to 15 meets or track meets per day, and in each of those meets there's probably about 10 to 15 races. So there's a lot of scope there to get on lots of bets, and you can see this top strategy here, and this is Betfair Bot Manager. This top strategy is we put 350 bets on, and that's only in about 3 days. What day is it today? It's Thursday evening, so this has been running since Tuesday morning, Tuesday, Wednesday and Thursday, 3 full days, and we put 350 bets on, so that's over 100 bets per day, which is a lot. And the idea being is we're going to try and win £1 off every race we put a bet on, but we're not going to put a bet on every race. We're probably going to try and do about 5 or 6 per meet. When I say try and do that, it just so happens that's what will happen because of how I'm doing it and not selecting specific races. Well, I am selecting races, but it could be 3 races per meet, or it could be like 6 or 7 races per meet, or 8 even, because we're based on the odds, but I'll come on to that as well shortly. So first off, I created this top strategy. Each one of these rows is a different strategy or bot in Betfair Bot Manager. You can see it's running at 90p loss, but we've done 350. We've won 309 times out of those 350, which is an 88% strike rate. Now the reason it's minus 90p is because I did start it at 10p per bet, but after about 50 bets I took it down to 2p, because I thought, you know what, I'm not too interested in this part. This is just to collect data. So 350 bets I can export into a spreadsheet, and I'll have a look exactly how the land lies and sort of which tracks or what time of day or which odds are more preferable, and where I'm losing and where I'm winning. And you see here the winners where we win 2p in green, and the losers are where we lose 6, like a different amount, a red amount in the minus. That'll be different depending on the odds. So in this case it was 16p because the odds were 9. So basically, to get your liability, you multiply your odds by your stake, which is 9 times 2p, which is 18p. and then you take off your 2p stake again, you take off your stake again, so you take off the 2p from the 18p and that gives you 16p you've lost. That's your loss. Or you profit 2p if you win. So you can see the stakes and the winning bets are low, your profit's low, but when you do lose, you lose a lot of money. That's like 8 times what you're normally winning. So you have to win 8 times just to cover that 16p loss. And it can be a lot higher than 16p because you can see there the odds are 16.5 there, so it could be a lot higher. You can see this is running in live mode. I would only suggest running strategies in live mode, not in simulation mode in Betfair Bot Manager, because simulation mode is okay to make sure that your strategy works and that's running okay. But if you want to know whether it's profitable or not, simulation mode is a waste of time. You're not going to know because it's got delayed factors and it doesn't get the right odds and things like that. You could set up a great strategy in the simulation and win loads of money, and as soon as you put it in live, it could lose loads of money. So what we've done here is you can see that another bet's just gone on. We've got 2 outstanding there. So in this top one here, the most recent at the top on this list I've sorted by bet place date. So we've got the most recent at the top. It just saves scrolling all the way down the list when you've got lots of bets. The most recent one always appears at the top. So what we're doing here is we're saying that we've put a lay bet on 3 and 5. So dogs 3 and 5. If they come first and second in either order, we will lose, and we will lose 10.5 times 2p minus 2p. And similarly with that one, and you can see this one's at Hove and this one's at Perry Bar, and you can see all the courses down here, the time of the race and the bet we've put on. Whether it's settled, the matched amount and the amount there. So if we scroll down, we can see how many, you can see all the winning ones and then the losing ones just interspersed in between. So you do get a lot less losers than you get winners, but like I say, the losers can be quite high and you need to cover them. And you can see that we haven't, we're still at minus 90p. Although I do think that would have been about zero if I'd started off with 2p. It's minus 90 because I did start the first 50 bets with about 10, I think, well, they were 10p, but I think it was about the first 50 bets. Okay, so that's going to collate data, and I'm not too bothered. I mean, it's been running 3 days now, we've lost 90p. I'm not quite too concerned if you neither here nor there about that, but it's going to give me valuable information here, which we can export into a spreadsheet and analyse. So then the next thing was, I'm doing the same again, but I did notice from these losses, so we've had 350 bets now and we've won 309, so we've lost 41. Now I've noticed out of those 41, a lot of them, for some reason, are over odds of 10, which is unusual because I think it would be the other way around. I mean, that one is under 10, but the majority have been over 10. So combine that with the fact that if you are putting bets on over 10, your liability is going to be a lot higher. So that one's 16p there. So if you moved up to 9.8, which is the highest, under 10, because it goes 9.8 and then 10, your highest liability on 2p is going to be about like 18p or something like that, 20p. Whereas if you get up to 16.5 or 20, you're going to lose a lot more money. So I've made a decision that I'm only going to put these bets on if the odds are under 10, so a maximum 9.8. So down here, then bear that in mind, down here, if we look at one of these, you can see all this column here is under 9, is 9.8 or below, so under 10 basic, essentially under 10. Now, what we've done here then, so these are just bets for Central Park. So the bot knows that, okay, we're only putting a bet on Central Park races. So it doesn't matter what time of the day Central Park kicks off. I mean, this was yesterday, the 15th, and it'll just start putting more bets on the next Central Park race. So we can see here we've won 21 out of 24, which is 88%, which is in line with our top one here. 88% is the yardstick for every single bet that we've had on the dogs. But these ones are just Central Park and they're only odds under 10. We've still won exactly the same percentage-wise. We've still won 88%. Now, this one's got recovery on, which is 100% recovery, and I'm not a great fan of the 100% recovery. You just need to look up sort of martingale strategy on Google, and it'll tell you all about like horror stories and such like. I'll summarise the strategy at the end as well to say the positives and negatives, because there are quite a few negatives. However, the martingale's strategy, or staking plan, if you like, look it up. I'm not a fan, but we're going to use it to get the money back. But we're going to use it in a bit more of a controlled manner than just keep doubling up every time. It's not even doubling up, it's more than that, which you'll be able to see. So if I look at this one, for example, we put 2p on, and it won. We won 2p, and then we put 2p on the next one, and it lost at odds of 7. So we lost 12p, which is our 7 odds times by the 2p is 14p minus a 2p stake, which is 12p lost. Now, to recover that loss, in the very next race, we need to recover it in one go. There's no point trying to recover it in 2 or 3, because there's a potential that you could lose another one, like this situation down here. So to recover it in one go, we need to put on our normal stake plus the loss. So we've got 12p plus our normal stake of 2p, which gives us 14p. So we're putting a 14p bet on this one, starting from 2p. That's 7 times more than the before. And that one, fortunately won, so we won 14p, which was our stake. However, if it had lost, we would have lost 8.2 14p minus a 14p stake. Whatever that is, but it will be, you're starting to get into sort of serious amounts of money. And then if it happened again, so if we had consecutive losses, it just grows out of beyond any control whatsoever. And that is the main issue with the martingale recovery staking plan. So what I'm doing here is the plan is to actually just stop after 2 losses and just call it quits and suffer the loss, basically. Hopefully then the ones that we do win will cover that loss. We're not going to go any further because the numbers get kind of eye-watering, and I'll show you in the next phase, because this again is just a test phase to see how the tracks get on. We're trying to establish whether the tracks are weighted to forecasts, and to me, I don't know a great deal about greyhounds, but I'm just trying to see whether certain tracks have more success with forecasts or not. And to me, as a layman from the outside looking in, I wouldn't have thought there'd be any correlation to the track, but that's what we're trying to do here. I have seen some data whereby certain traps I don't say never win, but they win a lot lower. I think there's a trap, Kinsley, for example. I think it's trap 4 when I was looking at data. There's a very low percentage of favourites win from trap 4. It's like 20%, whereas in other traps it's way over 30. So data like that would suggest, well, if there's a favourite in trap 4 late, because it's going to win a lot less than. But then you have to make sure that the bookies aren't cottoned onto that, and that's where you get your edge, that kind of thing. But I'm digressing a little bit, but that's what we're trying to find out here by doing it by track to see how many losses we get. So anything 88 or over, anything over this number, I'm happy enough with. So you can see we've got 92 here, we've got a really bad one here, which is 62 at Doncaster. You can see that one's actually paused, and that's because, if I move on to that one now, that's because we've had 2 consecutive losses. You can see the 2 consecutive losses there. There's only 2 bets in there. I have lost a little bit of data in here because this VPS, the Windows server, needed to be updated, and when you update it, it obviously shuts down all the applications, and it didn't save the actual historical bets. So it's still got the numbers here, and the bets, the other 6 bets, here, are still in the background. I can go into another screen, the history screen, and see all the bets for Doncaster. That's just they're not shown in this screen, which is a little bit annoying because I can't show you them. But you can see here that was 5 out of 8 have won, so that's only a 62% strike rate. And the last 2 have actually both lost, which were both last night. At 6:10 and then nearly 6:30, the 2 races, they both lost in a row. So what the bot's set up to do is automatically turn itself off. So you can see it's paused itself here. The status is paused, whereas all the others are started. Now, unfortunately, and what is a bit disappointing, that's happened on 4 tracks. What I've been doing with these tracks in red every day, so Tuesday, Wednesday and Thursday, I've just been going through all the meetings each day and putting them in here. So I haven't got all the tracks in here yet, as I go through the next sort of week or two, hopefully I will build this up. Some of them duplicate because if you've got another meet or a different day, if like wrong fat's already in, for example, I don't need to put it in. But then if we get a new one, I'll just add it in. And unfortunately, we've had 4 already. So we've lost 47 pence on that one and 62 on this one. And these two are a bit anomalies because these again were where I was using 10 pence to start with, but now I'm only using 2 pence. So this should have probably been a fifth of that number, and that should have been a fifth of that number because I was using 10 pences when there was, and I thought, well, there's no point using 10 pences because I've lost 60. So I've lost £6.47 there every time the track gets paused. I potentially lose quite a bit of money. So I've taken it down to 2 pence. So the most I should lose is about £1, depending on the odds. So and that's the problem. So the most you can lose probably on 2 pence is 2 pence times by 9.8, which is the highest odds. And if you're unlucky again, it would be. I don't know if there's any data in here because they're from previous days. No, there's not any in there. There's not any in there. I was trying to show an example. I have got an example somewhere in this data. It shows 9.8 and 9.8. Anyway, if you've got 2 pence times by 9.8, that's going to be £8.80 going on to the next race plus your stake, including your stake. So then times that £9.80 by another 9.8, you're talking 90 quid minus your stake, minus your £9.80 stake. So I think you're probably talking about like high 80 quids without working out on the calculator. If you're using like a pound as a stake, which is what we're going on to next. So what I'm doing with these is I'm just letting these run each day at low numbers just to get these volumes here. So I can see at a glance like which ones are looking good. That one's looking okay because it's done 21 out of 25, so the percentage is 84. So that would be a candidate for moving into the big time, and this is the big time down here, as you can see in green, and it's got big in the name. If they lose 2 in a row, at the minute I'm not interested in them. I'm calling that quits, and they're not going into the big time. So Doncaster won't be moved down below, Hove won't be, Kinsley won't be, and Monmore won't be. Neither will any others that have a consecutive loss. They won't be going down below for now until I can work out some more numbers. So what I've done each day is I've looked at the race meets again, and I've kind of picked a morning and afternoon or a morning and evening meet, so they're not all run at the same time, so I can kind of monitor it. And I put 4 the first day, so Tuesday I put 4 in this list, and then yesterday I put 2 in, and today I've put another 2 in. So we've now got 8 in here, and then you can see the wins here. Now this is real money here, and what we're doing here is we're using a pound stake. I'm going to run you through the numbers. That's what I've just mentioned. But I'll look at Central Park first because we've got 12 out of 15. So you can see here, I'm staking a pound on these ones. This is where the numbers get quite scary. If you start losing, and that's why we're switching off. That's why we're pausing and switching off and calling it a date 2 losses. Again, on this one, the only change in between that, the red and the green, is we're using a pound instead of 20 pence, so it's 5 times the stake, so the liability is 5 times the amount as well. So you can see here on this one, put a pound on, 3 and 5 didn't finish in the first 2, or didn't finish first and second, should I say, and we won a pound. We put a pound on here against 3 and 1, but unfortunately 3 and 1 finished first and second, and it was odds of 7, so we lost £6. So then this next one we have to put £7 on, which is the £6 we lost plus the £1 stake to try and recover the loss from the previous race. And fortunately we did at 8.2. However, if it hadn't won and we'd lost 2 consecutive ones, this would have been 8.2 times by 7. So 8 7's 56 minus your 7s, it's 50 quid basically. That would have been minus 50 quid. Plus the £6 yeah, would have been £56 down on this strategy, and then it would have turned itself off. And bearing in mind we're only £12 up, that would have been 56 minus £12. Sorry, £12 minus £56, so it would have been about £44 down on Central Park. However, the idea is if that did happen and we were £56 down, I'm not going to class it as against Central Park because I've got all these other tracks running. If we add these up, that comes to 12, 21, 30, 38, 42, 52, 60, 70, 77. So we've got 77 there. If we'd lost 50, say, for example, we'd still be 27 up. So the idea here is to get enough bankroll in these tracks here in green to suffer a loss, to take a loss. The problem lies when we get, say, 2 tracks losing quickly. Now, I don't know whether I've been lucky or unlucky, because down here we've got no tracks that have turned themselves off, but up here I've already got 4. So I don't know if I've been unlucky up here or lucky down here, if you get what I mean. Because the biggest disappointment I've got in this at the moment is I've lost 4 tracks. Like I say, at the moment, I'm just keeping them off because they've shown that they can get 2 consecutive ones quite quickly. And it's probably just luck, but I'm hoping it's something to do with the selection process of saying, well, these tracks look good, so we'll move them into the big time. It's possibly not. Hopefully we'll find out in due course. So you might think, why have you got £10 5p here in Sheffield? It's because the last race lost. So that's like a cliffhanger. It's like a proper cliffhanger. You go into the next meeting thinking, ooh, if the next one loses, we've lost our double, and then it'll turn itself off. What this gives us is the opportunity. I'll have a look when the next Sheffield meet is, but it gives us the opportunity just to reset this strategy if we want to take that £2.95 loss. It's not a bad idea considering the whole we're £70 odd up. I think I've already added up. I can take that loss because we're still £10 up on Sheffield. So, if you want to play it safe, reset this strategy. You can reset it by clicking on that button, and it will start again from scratch, and it will bank that £10 profit over here on the right. It'll bank it here, and then that'll go back to 0. So, we were £13 up until we lost the £2.95, and that's taken down to 10.05. The other option is let it ride, and then you're hoping that it wins the next one. If it loses the next one, you could be 50 quid down. I shall make that decision after this video, and I'll let you know in the next update what I actually decided to do. But as you can see, that's the strategy in a nutshell. We're currently about 77 quid up. If I don't bother counting this sort of red stuff at the top because it's all just low numbers. I will add them up at some point and see what we're down on that. I suspect we're slightly up just. That's the problem on there because I was using 10p at the time. I'd only been using 2p. I wouldn't have been anywhere near as high as that. But as you can see, we're just doing straight stakes. We're actually down, but again, a lot of that will be because of initial 10p stakes. I just wish I'd started at 2 and stuck at that, or stuck at 10. Thing is, these numbers would have been a lot higher at 10p. But anyway, this is the main part down here in the red. So three issues with this one. Obviously, the positive is the money. We're £70 odd up in 3 days, which is nothing to be sniffed at. Is it sustainable? I have no idea. Possibly not. But as of today, after 3 days, we have made over £5 on every single meet that we've been betting on in green here. So issues to take away, negatives I'd say, is this is in its very infancy. I've only just started 3 days ago. It's not going on the driftometer at this point in time because it's not mature enough to do so. I haven't found out enough information about it. Secondly, it uses the 100% recovery. I've seen a lot of people be stung by that in the past. I think I've been stung in my early days as well doing it when I first started out doing it. Where you just sort of, you're not even doubling up, you're like sort of trebling up, you're quadrupling up, it just rises exponentially and it goes out of space within a few bets. Like I say, if you look it up online, it'll give you all the horror stories about it. It's like betting on black and red in roulette. I think the highest number of consecutive numbers, like black come out 32 or 33 times in a row, and then if you're just doubling up your money every time, you're talking eye-watering figures. You need a bankroll like Elon Musk to actually keep going, and even then you could go bankrupt. That's the second one. So third is, the whole thing means it's really, really high risk. If you want to follow it, do it at your own discretion, your own risk, and also I would recommend using small stakes. You know, start off, use your big timers, this red one, and just use 2 pences. If you do use 2 pences, the most you can probably lose on one track there. That one's probably £1. I'm not even sure if that there might be some 10 pences in that. You're probably talking about a quid or a couple of quid once the track turns itself off. If you want any help with the bots, then give me a shout. If you do use Betfair Bot Manager, and drop the bots somewhere where you can pick them up and use them and play about with them and just change them around to your heart's content. I would be very, very interested in hearing anyone's thoughts on this one, because like I say, I've got my own reservations about it. But I've seen a lot of people trying it. Whether people are coming unstuck with it or not, I don't know. That's the problem on the internet. You see a lot of like rubbish and make so much money per day and things like that. But I would be very interested to hear other people's opinions on this kind of thing and how long it could last and how we get with it. But I am prepared to let this keep going. I've got 285 there in the bank at the minute, but you know, that won't last long if I lose a couple down here. If you're talking between 50 and 70 quid loss potentially for each track down here, that won't last long unless we're building this up. It's built up so far to 77, which will cover 1 loss, but it won't cover 2 losses. So that'll be 2 consecutive losses at 2 different tracks. It wouldn't cover that. I mean, the bank would, but what I've built up wouldn't. But even the bank there, 285, would only cover about 4 tracks losing down here, and then that'll be it gone. I'm prepared to lose that. Again, don't put any money into this that you can't afford to lose, that you need. Cost of living these days obviously goes without saying. Only put money into this if you can afford to lose it, and if it goes from 285 there down to 0. Obviously nobody wants to lose that amount of money, but if you're happy enough to not miss that money, then do it with these stakes. If your bankroll is nowhere near that, then use smaller stakes. Okay, so that's that one. Love to hear the comments about it. I'm going to come back shortly with the football. For the football people who aren't interested in dogs, I know it's Cheltenham week. I shouldn't even be talking about dogs or football, but I'm bucking the trend. I'm doing dogs today, and I'll probably get a video out in the next day or 2 about the football strategy, because that one is making a little bit of money, which I'll take you through in the next video. Okay, that's it for now. Thanks very much for watching.